The New York Giants would take him over Daniel Jones, I bet.
Absolutely. Which
And
also with the Vikings game though too, did the whiteout just really screw with your guys' eyes? Well, like there were so many times I thought the Giants were the Vikings and the Vikings were the Giants.
oh, dude, especially on Hawkinson's touchdown, the toe tap one, I was like,
Uh-huh.
he was out of
That
bounds.
was so
Those
stupid.
those white end zones were a disaster.
Why would you
I-
do that?
Terrible. The
I mean,
white
I
Viking
thought
was
it
cool.
looked cool, but it was hard to see them with like their jerseys and shit.
Yeah,
I
the white-
thought, like I said, I thought it was the Vikings were the Giants and the Giants were the Vikings.
It
I can
didn't.
see that.
It didn't make much sense. I would, like you said, I was pretty damn confused the whole time seeing that.
If they were gonna go all this white out, they should have went white helmets with a brown or not a brown, a fucking purple horn with a gold outline.
Yeah.
That
I
would
would
have
agree.
topped it off. That would have been absolutely disgusting.
But then
I wonder if that was discussed.
just keep the purple end zone. Leave the end zone the
Yes.
same.
And
Just
maybe,
leave it on the-
yeah.
Like the white on white purple helmet, I thought that was a great look. It just everything else was a disaster. Except the ending. The ending was not a disaster.
No, it was not. It's what you're looking.
Can we just talk? This team's 11-0 in one possession games. Can we just kick this narrative out of the way that they're lucky? Like at some point, making plays has to matter, and that's what this team does. Like
Exactly. You're right.
What does O'Connell say in every postgame? You have to be your best when your best is required. Like that's like the epitome of this team. Like they do that every week in this game.
Or
When
like-
they need to make plays, they do it.
Well, and football is a bit of a cyclical game where, you know, you're one season you lose a bunch of one score games, the next year those turn your way. Well, in 21 and 2020, the Vikings lost a lot of one score games, and right now it's coming back to them where they're 11-0 in one score games. They're enjoying just at this point, I think, and I don't know if you're like the rest of the Vikings fans, Ethan, where it's just I'm trying to enjoy the ride, but I know the letdown is coming. But right now, enjoy the ride because you know what? Winning is fun. I don't care how you do it. Like we've said 1,000 times on this podcast. This ain't gymnastics. There's no style points. Winning is winning.
So, two things. Remember last year, the Vikings, if they would have all their one possession games had gone different, they would have been a 15-2 team this year. Last year. This year, if they don't have another blemish these last two games, that's a 14-3 football team. I mean, at some point, Ethan, you're right. With all these one possession games, it's not luck. You're making the right plays. The other team is not making the right plays. You know, it's not the Vikings' fault that Dan Campbell blew the clock in week 3. It's not their fault the Buffalo Bills couldn't stop Justin Jefferson on 4th down.
Or get a quarterback center exchange.
That was a rare 8% when the QB sneak don't work. And then also, you know, there's so many other opportunities with this team where you sit back and you were like, you know, the Jets in that game, they didn't have to kick 5 field goals. But they chose to. And in the Washington game, if that referee doesn't get out of the way, you know, that's an interception, not a touchdown there. So they're making the play they need to. And unlike last year, and like Eric Bieniemy says, you got to give yourself a chance to give yourself a chance. And the Vikings, they're giving themselves a chance to win these games every single week.
Well, and there's a belief too with the team too that like, oh, we're in a tight game. We've done this before. We can do it again. We're going to find a way. I think there's always a belief on that sideline that we're finding a way to come back and win this game.
It's culture. It's 100% the coach actually believes in Kirk. Like last year, you could tell he never believed in Kirk. Now he has someone behind him. Kirk is probably a top 7 to 8 quarterback in the league this year. Like some of the throws he's made this year are insane. But also on top of that, like Justin Gard on K-Fan said it really good last year or yesterday. The Vikings have had a lot of great teams that have had bad luck. Like, let's be real. I'm trying to think. Atlanta
98.
game. 98.
Yep.
You come to the Saints game. What was that? 09. Like, just got fucked. Like, those are two just right there. But they've never had a lot of good teams that get lucky. Like you see a lot of these teams win. The Bengals last year, they were a good team. They weren't great, but they got lucky a lot towards the end of the year.
Kicker got hot. Yep.
Their kicker got hot. How many times have we been able to say that as a Vikings team? Like this very well might be different. This team is different. I think it's very obvious just by how they played in the fourth quarter, especially. Every other Vikings team ever, they're going to lose these games. Like it's just how it goes. You almost expect it. Where now it's almost reverse, where you expect them to win. Like if they lose, we'll be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's exactly it. It's similar to Cowboys, where it seems like it is a roller coaster, where it's either if they start out fast, those first 10 plays, they go right down the field, score, or they start a little slow and then they come back to life. And then there's a lull for about 35 minutes in the game. And then all of a sudden, that's when the fireworks happen. And they're making plays when they have to. And maybe they can find a way to get the 1 seed if Philly falls down the stretch. But right now at the 2 seed, I mean, Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are, despite what some people, I don't know, I saw you tweeting about it, Ethan, say that they're not a top 10 receiver quarterback combination.
Oh, they're, if not the top 3 minimum.
Yeah.
The dude has 22 catches on the year. He just broke Chris Carter's record in 15 games.
Mm-hmm. If he has 204 versus the Packers, he breaks the all-time record in 17 games.
I'm trying to think of quarterback duos who are better than them right now. I mean,
there isn't.
Allen and Diggs, sexy.
But even then, the last 2 weeks, Diggs has done nothing when it matters the most.
Oh, exactly. You know, Burrow and Diggs. I mean,
Malik Willis and Treylon Burks.
Oof. Yes.
John Robinson, shout out to you, former GM Tennessee Titans.
Mike Davis, whoever the fuck they have a quarterback. I don't know, the Texans. I don't even know if that's
Malik Willis.
AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, that's a nice little duo, but that's
I don't want to talk about it.
But they haven't banged. None of those guys, obviously, some of the ones we joked about, but like, none of those guys have been as consistent as Kirk and JJ since what, week 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Like, since the Detroit game, he's pretty much gone off every game.
Just take the last 3 years as a sample size. JJ has 3 of the top 5 receiving yard seasons in Viking team history, and he's been in the NFL for 3 years. It's incredible.
What was that tweet I texted you? Or I texted you guys it about JJ or whatever. Oh, most 100-yard receiving games through 4 years. He's in his 3rd year.
3rd season. It's incredible.
Uh-huh.
It's 150 plus or 175 plus, something like that. He already has more 175 plus yard games as Randy Moss in his whole career, not just a Viking. Like, that's insane.
And you throw in Moss, his 23 touchdown year in New England. It's insane.
Yeah, just stupid. Like, it makes no sense. The dude's an alien.
Yeah, and well, so I think too, like this team almost reminds me, and I wasn't alive for it, but the '85 NC State Wolfpack team. I don't know if you guys have seen that 30 for 30 on them.
Is that Jimmy V's national title team?
Yep. And they talked about how, like, there's going to be games where you guys aren't the most talented team, but if you guys find ways to hang around and pull some of these games out, your guys are going to build that confidence, that belief. And that's exactly what this team is. This team feels a little bit, and I don't know, I probably have my years wrong, but I want to say it was either 85 or 86 that when the NC State Wolfpack won it all. Like, that's kind of how this team feels, is it's just, we're just going to hang around and see what happens.
I have one more thing to add on Kirk this year. I already talked a lot about him, but he actually trusts his guys for the first time and feels confident throwing these 50-50 balls. Like that 3rd and whatever it was, 9 or so on the last drive versus the Giants, just throws that out route to Jefferson. He's not even out of his break and he just throws it. Jefferson goes and gets it. That touchdown to Hawkinson on the left pylon. He never throws those last year. Like Zimmer would have freaking hung him on the field if he threw those balls last year. Like this year, like KOC's telling him to do it. Like he wants them to go make them plays. Like he knows their guys are better than the other team. Like 87, 18, and 17, 19. Like they're all better than those guys that are going to go get those balls. Let him go prove it.
Well, then also, guys, like shout out here to Quessy. Mid-season, knowing that this offense needs to get better and we need production out of the tight end. Let's get the best tight end in our division and lock him down.
Honestly, right now, he might be a top 2 tight end in the league.
Top 2, top 3 tight end in the league. I mean, it's Hawkinson, Kittle, and Kelsey, and everyone else.
Yeah.
What he's done since he's been traded here is unbelievable. The production he's putting up. And guess what? He's helping JJ and Osborne have better numbers because TJ is owning the middle of the football field.
Another thing, Dylan, you brought up not getting the 1 seed. Or go, Grass, or Dylan.
Well, I was just gonna say it was 83 that NC State won it all, the year I'm talking about.
Okay.
But anyways.
But you were talking about the 1 seed, like you having to go to Philly would obviously suck, but this is not the same team that went there week 2 and struggled. Like Kirk is on a whole different level right now. You add in Hawkinson, and their run defense sucks.
Jordan Davis got
play action. Oh, they're fucked. Like they are so screwed with JJ on those crossers. Like it's done. It's over.
Well, and at that point in week 2, was it 21-7 or 14-7 when Irv Smith dropped that touchdown?
He dropped the touchdown. And they were never out of that game, like people are saying. Like they shot themselves in the foot. How many Kirk threw what? Two or three picks, 2 in the red zone. Like
they moved. Minnesota moved the ball well that game. It was just their situational football was awful. And Irv Smith, talk about addition by subtraction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you go get one of the best tight ends in the league.
I mean, I'm 99.9% sure Hawkinson catches that football. And if it's 21-14 going into the second half, it's a whole different game.
Oh, whole ball game.
1-7, whole different game.
And they held them. They held them in check second half. Like they didn't even move the ball.
Aiken got the ball to start the second half. If it's 21-14, you just have a nice touchdown drive in the link. You're telling me you can't get some momentum? So this is a hypothetical, but this is a matchup we could easily be seeing again. And then also, even you mentioned the 1 seed, Dylan, even if, you can't get that, having that 2 seed is huge because you make San Francisco come
here.
Yep.
Here. And then you know what? I understand.
Rookie quarterback.
I understand.
That place
has been playing great, but he hasn't played in a loud stadium like he would be here, and the communication aspect would be totally different. So that would be one potential matchup I am so looking forward to seeing.
And they haven't played an offense like ours either. Let's be real.
Well, the last time they did, they gave up 44 points to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are good, but the Dolphins moved the ball on them too. Let's not forget that. Like they had good yardage. It was just Tua just sucked again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He was hurt.
The last time the Niners played a legit offense in their stadium, they gave up 44 points.